In this video, let's go over the historic roots of this idea of finding your life purpose, and I'm going to call it the genealogy of the life purpose search. And anytime you can use the word genealogy in a sentence, it's a good day. And I'm a nerd like that. There are some words I just want to use them, and this was a good way for me to use that word because I almost never get to use that. It's a fancy word. All right. So, genealogy basically means the root of something. How did something come about? Well, historically, people always had something that told them what to do with their life, and that was religion. Doesn't matter what religion it is, there's no question. It tells you exactly what to do with your life. Different religions tell you to do slightly different things, but generally, they tell you, okay, everybody should do this and follow this path. And many people follow that. But in the mid 1800s, there was a philosophical movement called existentialism. Basically, existentialism was all about each person and their individual path. So it's not one size fits all, which religion was. And by the way, when I mention religion, I know it's a potentially controversial topic. I don't mean to offend anybody if I end up offending, so I apologize in advance. I just mean to sort of give a history and philosophy perspective here, which are completely objective. I'm not judging anything. I'm trying as hard as possible to be objective. But in the existentialism movement of philosophy, which was a very major movement from the mid 1800s to the mid 1900s, even late 1900s, and is still drawing a lot of interest, that basically put the weight of discovery of their life purpose on the individual. For everyone, it's different. Before that, the major source for this was religion. For everyone, it was the same. And that's the trick. It's like, well, now the responsibility of finding it is on every individual. That's actually really hard. So the basic tenets of existentialism, and I studied this for a long time and it fascinated me. It's a lot more complicated than what we can cover here, but basically it basically says there's no God, just your personal journey, and that is final. Like there's no afterlife, nothing like that. And different philosophers, they agreed and disagreed on certain details. Like one philosopher, Soren Kierkegaard, he did still believe in religion and existentialism at the same time, but most philosophers who followed him did not believe in religion or God. And that sort of was one of the major philosophical movements of the late 19th century into the 20th century. But the 20th century had a lot of problems, like two major world wars in Europe. And there came about this another philosophical movement, nihilism. Nihilism, a lot of people see it as depressing, and you might also, but that's only in the beginning. It actually will be a little hopeful. So, what is nihilism exactly? It's the idea that we are just a tiny, tiny speck in all the universe. Our whole planet Earth is a tiny speck in the universe. It doesn't matter what we do with our lives at all. We put the importance onto things, but it really, the universe doesn't care. And everything you give importance to will disappear, and ultimately it won't matter. And so people found that very depressing. Well, then what's the point of doing anything? What's the point of my career? What's the point of doing business? What's the point of making money? Why don't I just sit on the couch? And well, you can look at it that way, and a lot of people do, but that would also be mistaken because really it's also equally freeing because there's no pressure anymore. There's no pressure to conform to whatever somebody wants you to do. There's no pressure to do what somebody else says. If you want to, you can do what you like, what makes you happy, and it gives you that freedom because there's no ultimately not that much wrong that you can do. Obviously, stay legal. If we come down from philosophy dream world into the real world, don't break any laws. But ultimately, as long as you don't hurt others, you are totally free to whatever makes you happy. And even if it doesn't matter to the universe, it's going to matter to you still. And you can't really live without some purpose. So you just have to find the one that's right for you and have that fulfill you. And of course, nihilism doesn't look at religion at all. So all those pressures are gone, and now you're just free to do whatever is right for you.